live. Let's go. Live on Substack, Big Red Carpet, Y Option, Rhett Lewis, Yogi Roth here with you live from big. Well, I mean, this is about as big as it gets. This is the granddaddy of them all. This is Rose Bowl Media Day today. We heard from Alabama and Indiana players for the last couple of hours. We're going to have our takeaways from what we heard from Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Curt Cignetti, Kalen DeBoer, and more. And we've also got some news around college football, part of which is related to these Alabama, the Alabama Crimson Tide team on the offensive side. Yokes, Nick Sheridan on the move. We've got Chip Kelly news. I mean, let's get into it. Yeah, can we? How we?
Like, we got an iPhone.
This is like Inception.
Yeah, we got a little everything going on. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
That's the beauty of what we're doing here today. So
yeah.
Hopefully y'all can.
Yeah.
Sharing this thing. Yeah. Overall, this might be your first Substack Live with a tie on. So I just want to congratulate you on that. A second one.
It is.
Second one for me. We did that one in New York. So thanks to all of your fans and followers and the whole deal here at Substack. It's kind of fun. So we don't bring you inside. Couple quick takeaways. I think big picture for this Indiana team. You go look at the Rose Bowl. We were both there last year. You've been there many times. This is 18 for me. It can swallow you. The moment can swallow you. The idea of the Rose Bowl can swallow you. I think after talking to Curt Cignetti, we had him on set on Big Ten Network. He was like, college football has changed, is his quote, college football has changed, and the Rose Bowl is a playoff game. And he just kind of deadpanned it after that. And I love that because he's not making this thing out to be what every other team I've covered for the most part, non-playoff, has made it out to be. It's been grand because it's grand. And I think he's done a nice job with a veteran team, 19 upperclassmen that are starters about this is business. And I think this team, they'll meet that moment. I think they'll put their best foot forward.
Right. I mean, and look, it is still the Rose Bowl, and this is still a tournament of roses. There will still be the Rose Bowl parade on New Year's Day. Like, there are all the things that you love about the Rose Bowl, but it has a little bit of a different feel because the season won't end for both teams. The season only ends for one team. Aiden Fisher talked to us about that. He's like, one of the driving forces for him and this team this year and in this week is the fact that they don't want to stop playing ball, like with their group. And I think that speaks to the unity and the cohesiveness of Indiana's team this year, the leadership that they have, the way that they play as a team in all three phases, and really from top to bottom, right? From Curt Cignetti, on down, to the GAs and however, really every person in the organization contributes, and they approach each week like that and each game like that. So I did think that was interesting. But yeah, I think the way that Curt Cignetti has messaged, the purpose for his team each week has been elite. And to me, that's one of the reasons why they're in this moment, Yogs.
I'll say cosign. And it's been really cool to watch you on this stage that's being torn down now. But you were just magnificent today in the coverage, man. And I think that Alabama, amid like we're IU heavy here. Like, obviously you're an alum. We work at Big Ten Network. Alabama's real.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you look at how Kalen DeBoer has built his team. They're not mirror images of one another because Alabama's recruited at a premium level, 18 national championships, etc. But in terms of how they have met moments, like they could have welted week one. He could have been fired. This could have been James Franklin. Like, he could have been done after they lose to Florida State. He was in the fan base. So we know what the maniacs are down in the South when it comes to their fandom, which is great at times for the sport, also horrible, and they have battled through it. Then you look at the 6 previous quarters until the final half of the Oklahoma game, and it's like they're done. Dead to rights, 17-0, 4th and 2. And scored, hadn't done anything offensively. And I think what Kalen DeBoer said to us on set is the note for our listeners. He goes, I feel we are really close. We are this close in the run game. If they can run the ball, folks, we got a different ball game. If they can't, now you got to go against the defense. You can feel good about yourself and Caden Proctor and your offensive line. You're going up against, I think, the best defense in America. And I know what Ohio State is. They're right a notch below that. Not much.
Yeah.
They're playing New Year's Eve. I think if they can get going in the run game, we got a hell of a game. If not, I think this is Indiana. I think they're the better team.
I think it's a very astute point, which should not come as a surprise to anyone that consumes Yogi's content on Y Option or on Big Ten Network or previously on Pac-12, because that is the part of this matchup that sticks out to me as well. You're like, well, why is Alabama run the ball all year? Why would stopping the run game be such a big deal to Indiana? because that's what then allows them to affect Ty Simpson. Not having to commit extra resources to deal with, Jam Miller in the Alabama run game allows them to start bringing the creativity and creating pressure and creating indecision with Ty Simpson. Like that to me is where it starts, right? Yeah, I mean, you bring all the blitzes and everything, but if Ty gets the ball out of his hand and knows where he needs to go with it, then the blitz doesn't matter. The pressure doesn't matter.
Do the receivers make plays?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to visit Alabama in the spring in May. Coach DeBoer brought me down to speak to his team, did a podcast. You can check it out on Y Option in the archives from this past spring. Huge fan of him and thought this receiving core was going to be premium. They still have that potential, right? And Ryan Williams can be that guy. I'm so curious about the psychology element of this game for this team. Early on, Alabama needs to run the ball because I don't know if the receivers believe they can keep making plays. We're talking about an All-American in Ryan Williams. We're talking about he wanted to be the first billion-dollar athlete. I've met with him. He's amazing. He'd blow your mind, but he's had drops. Like I think leads the SEC in drops.
At one SOU?
Yeah, it, almost a catastrophic one, a little bubble screen.
Yeah.
They're trying to, win the game. So I'll be watching that, early on in this ball game. We'll be at the Rose Bowl today, tomorrow. The next day, we will have you covered here on these two platforms.
Yeah. Well, and just kind of going back to, that idea of stopping the run to limit the way that Alabama has moved the ball down the field, which has been through the air. I think you go back into the way that Indiana has operated on defense against a couple of high-level opponents this year. Start with the Illinois game, right? That was the biggest game to date for IU. It was week 4. It was their 4th game. And you saw it time and time again with Luke Altmaier, who is an NFL quarterback. He's going to play in the league. Like he's going to probably get drafted at this point. Brett Bielema, great coach. Barry Lundy, great coach. They forced hesitation. Indiana forced Luke Altmaier to hesitate. They clouded that first read, that first picture, which then allowed Mario Landino, a couple of sacks, Isaiah Jones, and some of the creative pressures that Brian Haynes can create. That allows that extra half second to get there, right? Because maybe they don't have the 5-star edge rushers, right, that Alabama can boast or that other teams in the playoff can boast. But again, through team pass rush, they get there and they need that coverage to be connected just a little bit to cause that indecision. It happened with Dante Moore at Oregon. It happened early with Julian Sayin in the Big Ten championship game. So that's why stopping the run so that you can better focus and deal with Ty Simpson, that's where the challenge then becomes.
Okay, so I'll give you my last thought here, and then we'll get to Chip Kelly to Northwestern and Nick Sheridan to Michigan State. I think what has gone unnoticed is both of these teams.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, look at that. Here we go. Both of these teams have been through it. I think when I looked at other teams in the playoff, or you looked at Indiana last year, right, the criticism was they hadn't been through a run. They hadn't been through a gauntlet. Bama's got 5 ranked wins, and we respect the SEC conference. Right? Don't put it up on the platform that the world does, but it's clearly one of the top 2 leagues in the country. Big Ten, you reference Iowa on the road, Oregon on the road, Illinois, drill a top 10 Illinois team. Say what you want about them, but Brett Bielema is extremely respected. They're a talented team. They have NFL players. They won by 56, whatever it was. I mean, it was a beatdown early in the season. And then the Ohio State game, which was, to me, the test. And I think as we see all these graphics of number 1 Indiana, they've earned it. And I think that's where I net out. Like, we got to do our predictions at Big Ten, like who's going to win? Why are they going to win? And if I'm being honest, my first pick was Oregon. I was like, I think they can go win it all. And I was laying in bed one night and I was like, why am I ignoring the truth of what you see on the tape?
Yeah.
Indiana's looked the best team all season long. I get it's hard to beat teams twice. It's hard to go against Alabama, but like, just watch. And you're saying to yourself, best quarterback in the country, best offense, arguably, best defense, in our opinions, 9 all-conference players, multiple all-American players, NFL players everywhere, a real O-line, a D-line that causes havoc based on scheme, to your earlier point.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we wouldn't think in a, insightful, thoughtful mind, Indiana's the best team in the country versus the irrational, emotional college football mind, which is what we love in the sport. But I that's why I think Indiana will win this game.
And I think there's still a faction of fans in this game. And my final thought here is, again, a faction of fans in college football that are still struck by the idea that in a game that features Indiana and Alabama, it's Indiana with the number 1 ranking next to their name and with the clean slate in the win-loss record. And it's Alabama with the 3 losses as an underdog in the game. And you're like, well, why? How could that possibly be? Like Indiana doesn't have the stars that Alabama has. And to a certain degree, that's true. But I think you and I, Yogi, both know Indiana has really good players and stars are cool. It's like stars are awesome, especially on signing day. They don't win on game day. Teams do. And Indiana has played together cohesively as a unit on all 3 phases like the best team in America. And that's why they're here. And that's why they have a chance to win this game. I mean, we could talk for hours about the different nuances of the matchup, and on these platforms, we probably will over the next couple of days. And it was great to get a chance to get a feel for how these two teams are vibing coming into Pasadena, coming into Los Angeles, where it will rain on game day, apparently, which is unfortunate, but it's just part of the deal. But we have been raining down with news over the course of these last couple of weeks in college football, and some big news that you've certainly been following as well, and affects this game. And let's start with Nick Sheridan.
Okay, cool. It's Nick Sheridan. Co-coordinator, Alabama. Last year called the plays at Alabama, played at Michigan, was at Indiana one time as the play caller there. That's right. And then moves out to Washington with Kalen DeBoer. He takes the Alabama job. He goes there. Ryan Grubb stays in Seattle, goes to the Seahawks, as we all know. He comes on back. And it's one of the most unique scenarios I've ever seen, at least with coordinator movement. And it worked at Alabama because of the relationships that Kalen DeBoer has created. Ryan Grubb has cultivated. Nick Sheridan has navigated. Like, a big fan of him. He's going to Michigan State. And you start looking at the staff at Michigan State, and dude, I mean, it's impressive. Keep Joe Rossi. They add in a couple different pieces from around the country. How about Iowa special teams coordinator now going there? I mean, you kidding me? In LeVar Woods. So like, I look at this thing and I'm like, oh God, like this is big time. And for Nick, who played at Michigan to now go to Michigan State, I just think it's really cool for the league. Who is their quarterback? We had a bunch of Michigan State games. Is it Alessio Milivojevic? Or is it somebody in the portal? Is it somebody on this Alabama roster? Who knows? I mean, they're talented. They got a ton of depth at that position, including the best freshman I've seen in America, and Keelan Russell a year ago at the Elite 11. So I just think that's a big one. And then just to put a bow on that for Northwestern, Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly named offensive coordinator early this morning.
What a hire by David Braun, a guy who's last time he was in college football won a national title as an offensive coordinator, coordinating the Ohio State Buckeyes offense. And I think, look, we've been fans from afar of what Chip Kelly has done, really throughout his career. And I think you can look at some of the lack of high level success in the NFL, as a head coach, but, revolutionized the game and knows offense and knows ball so well and just loves to coach ball. I think is a phenomenal hire by David Braun. Now, doesn't necessarily have the roster that Ohio State did. Or even that the Raiders did, and that didn't quite work out for a number of reasons, right? So this will be a real challenge, I feel like, for Chip Kelly. How do you feel like he navigates that, and how that program, kind of uses him to take a jump here?
I think it's a huge hire, and you look at Mark Jackson, the athletic director, Coach Braun, the head coach. Alignment is the word that's thrown around all the time, from ADs and coaches. Chip Kelly didn't have to make a move anywhere. He could retire. He could take any job. He was rumored for many. Yeah, exactly. But he wanted to be around good people, elite people. And that's what I know Mark Jackson, I've known since 19. David Braun, you talk to people around him, you get to know him, same caliber, right? You look at what they have defensively. They kept their defensive staff together. I'm thrilled for Chip. You're right. It's going to be a challenge to go win a Big Ten title. But I'll go look at Chip Kelly's most recent time at a place that didn't have everything, and that's UCLA. 8 and 9 wins as the head coach there, right? Like, I just think that where he doesn't get enough play, and we know this from having called so many games of his over the course of time, he's going to pull back from like 1950s Army film to 1980s Niners film to Ohio State to whatever will fit his roster. Where do they go at quarterback? They got a young quarterback. Do they go add somebody in the portal? I'd imagine, why wouldn't you with Chip Kelly now in this hire? I'd be curious who it is. Like, Where's Lincoln Keenholz? Is he a guy? Right? I don't know. Again, we're just projecting potential players, but I think if I'm a player in the portal now, and I know Northwestern is going to be aggressive moving forward, you want to go play in this offense because the numbers don't lie. I mean, not only has he revolutionized, he's a college football Hall of Famer. To me, he's changed the game. He changed how teams practice on Fridays, how they eat, how they train, how they talk, how tempers. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I look at that, and then what we haven't even talked about is there's another future college football Hall of Famer that's going to be in Ann Arbor, and Kyle Whittingham. I mean, you think about what has happened in the last however many days, however many hours. It just, to me, signifies like people want to be in this league. Fernando wanted to play in the Big Ten, won the Heisman. We'll have a whole portal episode, folks. But from a news standpoint, Rhett, thrilled for Northwestern. Their schedule is brutal. They open up a new stadium, presumably against Colorado and Dion.
Yeah.
And then the year after, their schedule is going to be dangerous. You take a look at that. So big news coming out of Chicago.
Yeah. Chicago, Ann Arbor, East Lansing, all places we have been. And yeah, I mean, like in the many places where the Big Ten, schedule will take them beyond this round, to Atlanta in the Peach Bowl, perhaps, and then we'll see where we go if we get Big Ten. It could be an all Big Ten national title with the way it sets up on the top and bottom of the bracket. So there's a lot to dig into, and a lot more content coming up. I know from Yogi on Y Option and for me here on Big Red Carpet. If you want Indiana content, by the way, I gotta bring this to you because this was super cool. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to talk with arguably before Aiden Fisher, arguably the best linebacker to play at Indiana, Micah McFadden. Ended up being a draft pick of the New York Giants, has started for the New York Giants for the last couple of years. He was hurt this year. So we actually got to go through film of Fish, of Elijah Hardy, and Isaiah Jones from the Big Ten championship game and get through Micah's lens how he has evaluated, watched, and cheered for this next wave of linebackers, which is really neat.
Let me love on that for a minute because I am a paid subscriber to roll. Exactly. So check that out. The film studies you do are second to none. And then for us behind the paywall, we just launched Y Option Scouting, which has kind of been fun. So coming in a matter of hours, we got the Ohio State breakdown coming up, and then what will come tomorrow morning will be this game's breakdown. So if you want basically a lens of what coaches look at or broadcasters look at when you get the game, the matchup from jump, go there. If you want to know what an NFL linebacker looks at when he's evaluating a future NFL linebacker, go visit with Rhett. But we got you covered, and I know how grateful both of us are for our paid community here within our Substacks.
We appreciate all of you that have been a part of the live part of this. This is obviously going to come out for those to consume on demand as part of the Substack community. One of the coolest things that I've gotten to see is the work that Yogi puts into each and every game that we are on. And I'm glad that some of that work is now still going to use as part of Y Option scouting reports, which is, you're going to be hearing a lot of those stats regurgitated over on Big Red Carpet, by the way. So you get the best of both worlds. But we appreciate you guys for being a part of the show here today. A lot more coming up here over the course of the week. And then on the Rose Bowl, January 1, rain or shine, we let it rip. Have a good one, everybody.